Hi, sixth grade. Today we're moving on to section 4 in chapter 1, adding and subtracting decimals. Today we're actually going to be not just adding and subtracting them, but estimating them. The two types of estimating we're going to be doing is front-end estimation, which is when you estimate by adding the front-end digits and then round anything that's left and change if necessary. Regular estimation, which is what you've used up until this point, is to estimate by rounding the whole number. If you need to pause it so that you can get this written down in your notes, please do. Make sure it's all the way on. There you go. I'm going to continue and talk to you about what the difference is. Okay, so for this first example, example 1, we're going to look at 3.026 plus 14.7 plus 1.38. Now, when we're adding, no matter which way, you want to be sure to line up the decimals, okay? So 3.026, 14.7, and 1.38. Okay, so those are our three numbers. And we're adding these. In front-end estimation, you're supposed to estimate by just first looking at the beginning part, so what's before the decimal. So I'm gonna circle what's before the decimal. So I have 3, 14, and 1. And if I add those, so 3 plus 14, that's 17, plus one more is 18. So 18 is what I have. And now I'm going to compare the second. So then estimate the sum of the remaining numbers. Okay, so the rest of it if I fill it in, right, with some extra zeros, that might help. It's not necessary, but that helps us determine about where they are. So 0.26, that's really small. 0.7 and 0.3, those two are bigger. In fact, 3 plus 7 is 10, right? So when we're talking about decimals, that means the 3 plus the 7, the 3/10 plus 7/10 will give me 1 whole, okay? So if I add plus 1 whole, right, because 0.7 and 0.3 is 0, and we would carry the 1, okay? And the 0.026 is so small that because we're estimating, because we're rounding, we can just round it down. And in estimation, we want to use these squigglies. That means approximately. So 18 plus 1 is approximately 19. So my answer using front-end estimation is 19, about 19. If I take the same numbers and I do it again using estimation, so 3.026 and 14.7 and 1.38, and again, the book encourages you to make sure that you have empty spaces filled with zeros. So if that's helpful, you should. With estimation, you round the whole number. Okay, so 3.026 is about 3. And 14.7, well, 0.7 is higher than half. So that's about 15. And then 1.38, if I round the 8 to the 3, that becomes a 4. And 1.4 is still under 0.5, right? So I end up with 1, right? This would round down to 1. So I have 3 plus 15, right? Plus 15, and that's 18, plus 1 more is 19. So we get the same answer, different ways. Let's do one more. Okay, front end estimation versus estimation. I have 4 new numbers. So I'm going to take my 3.98 is my first number. Then I have 6. I want to make sure to line up the decimals, 0.49, 9.08, and 3.47. These all had the same amount of digits after the decimals, so no zeros to fill in. And I'm adding. So I'm going to take the front. I'm going to take the front and I'm going to add them. So I have 3 plus 6, that's 9. 9 plus 9, that's 18. And then plus 3 more. So 18, 19, 20, 21. So I have about 21 from front end estimation. And then I need to estimate what's left. Okay? So 0.98, well that's about 1. 98 is about 1, right? 99 and then 1. 49, that's about 50, that's about half, right? So 0.5. This 0.08, that's so small. That's so small, it rounds down to nothing. And then 0.47, that's almost 0.5, that's almost another half. So I have 1 and then I have 2 halves. 2 halves, so a half plus a half, that equals a whole. So I have plus 2, right? These two equal 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So 21 plus 2 means I get approximately 23 with front end estimation. Okay, so now I'm going to try estimation. Same numbers. 3.98, 6.49, 9.08, and 3.47. So this time, using just estimation, regular estimation, you take the whole thing. So 3.98 is almost 4. It's almost 4. 6.49, so that's 9 can round the 4 to a 5, so I have 6.5, so that would make this almost, if I rounded, it would make it almost 7. 9.08, well that's 9, right, that rounds down. And 3.47, the 7 could round the 4 to 5, so I have 3.5, which is almost 4. Okay. And so then I have 4 plus 7, and that's 11. And then plus 9, 11 plus 9 is 20. 20 plus 4 is 24. So I get approximately 24, okay? So some of us round or estimate a little bit differently, but we want to make sure we're within 1, right? We're within 1. So 23 and 24, those are within 1, so those are good answers. If you had chosen to do 6.4 and round down, you would have gotten 6 instead of 7. Same here for 3.4. If you had chosen to round down because 0.4 is not enough to bump, then you would have gotten 3 instead of 4, which means since this is 1 less and this is 1 less, your answer would have been 2 less. So your answer would have been approximately 22, which is 1 away from 23, so also a good answer. So these are kind of tricky, right? Because we just want to be within 1 or 2, within 1 or 2 points of each other, okay? So that means that we will have more than 1 right answer. For homework tonight, I want you guys to try these, okay? So we are on page 21, and we are going to be doing numbers 8 through 16, evens only, okay? Evens only, 8 through 16. 8 through 16. All right, if you have any questions, please reach out. There's no office hours today, so you'll need to send me an email or a message on Google Classroom. Thanks, guys.